All right, hello and welcome back. This is Oil and Gas Unit 4, Safety First. So we're going to give you some answers to the exercises, but I really want to focus on some of the gear and some of the vocabulary here, and then the answers should be attached in the folder if you missed class. All right. So safety first, to kick off. By now, you should know past elementary English, the parts of your body. So we'll skip to here where you wear these, right? So a hard hat protects your head, pretty obvious. A face guard protects your face, yes. Boots for your feet. Protect your ears from noise, right? Number 4 here. Your hands, these gloves here, protects your hands. And then we have some goggles for your eyes. A blank protects you from smoke and dangerous fumes. This is called a respirator. Now, a respirator and a mask with just a filter aren't the same thing. Respirator is a little bit more advanced. Some are electronic and can regulate the flow of air that comes in. And then blank protects you from a fall, right? That would be a safety harness. So why do we have these? Well, all of these are very important in construction, first of all, but also oil and gas. Now remember, when you are on an oil rig or you're offshore, there aren't any facilities for you to go to. So you want to make sure you're being very, very safe and that you're using your gear to protect yourself because it's a long way to a hospital. It's going to take, you can't just drive there, right? So if you're offshore, you may be several miles from a hospital. So maybe they'll have something on board for you, but you want to make sure you're wearing your what's called PPE, your personal protective equipment, to make sure you're being safe. So we have a respirator, safety harness, gloves, goggles, boots, a face guard, especially if you're doing welding or working with machinery, so things don't splash back in your face. And that also protects your neck. So remember, the goggles are just for your eyes, but the face guard protects your whole head and neck. And then ear protection is for loud equipment. We're going to move on to safety signs. So we have several safety signs here with special colors. Red and yellow are the most noticeable when it comes to hazards or danger. And then green is something that you should do, green and blue, right? So let's skip to 2 here, read the text about safety signs, write these 4 headings. Excuse me. All right, so the 4 headings here, number 1, if you pause the video, number 1 should be B, black and yellow triangles. So about hazards, right? Number 2 should be C, red and white circles. 3 is D, which are blue and white circles. And then number 4, some instructional, give you information about green and white squares or rectangles. Information. So these should be displayed in shops, on oil rigs, and buildings with heavy equipment. Even outside of buildings, as you're walking around, you'll see these. The most ones that we've probably seen or should be familiar with are the red ones and the yellow ones, because that's usually for everybody as well. So no smoking, electric area, right? All right, and again, hazards are dangerous things. So hot things, gas, objects, slippery surfaces, etc. PPE again, personal protective equipment, things that protect you. We're going to talk about measurements and weights, toolbox, and cannon must. So there is a dialogue here. What does the blue sign mean? Just practicing your colors, pronunciation. So again, if you're in a shop, they're displayed on the wall there as soon as you walk in, sometimes on the door. Okay, let's go on. So we do have some vocabulary here. Attach means fits together. Estimate means to calculate approximately. So it's not exact, it's going to be around 1 or 2 centimeters. And prepare means to make ready. 1 ton is a metric ton, which is 1,000 kilograms. 1 ton, American English, is 2,000 pounds. 1 ton British English is about 2,240 pounds. So in this case, the American English, the pounds is actually, or a ton is actually a little bit easier because it's just 2,000 pounds. That's about the weight of a car, a couple of tons or 1 to 2 tons. All right, and I do have an outside resource. So you can see in this photo, he's wearing his hard hat, some goggles, and he has his ear protection here. Now notice his ear protection is not for his hat, but when he's not using it, he can put it up on his head and then kind of get to it easily. So you'll see them wearing it. I know it looks funny, but then you see them wearing it on their hat so they can easily move it up and down off of their ears so they can hear each other. And he's got these long, his suit that he's wearing to protect his arms, and then his gloves. Here's a good resource for safety signs, safetysigns.com. You can look at some different ones here. And another resource, safetysignsforless.uk. So these are some that you'll see in the UK. They're mostly the same, but some are different. Evacuation signs, exit, etc. Okay. It's my job. So in the picture, we can see a rigger preparing to lift the equipment. These are riggers are erecting a rig to lift drill pipe. So again, very dangerous work. You can see him wearing the safety harness. If you want, you can pause the video, take a look at some of the gear they have. Riggers also work with crane operators. They attach slings to a load. A load is whatever you're carrying or moving. So it could be a light load, a really heavy load, or a really massive load that's big as a building, right? So you want to make sure you're always being safe. We do have some numbers and units here. If you have any questions, you can email Mr. Kelvin to go over some of these, but these you should know these because you use them in Russia and in Kazakhstan and most of the world, right? Say what these signs mean. So go ahead and pause the video here and say what these signs are referring to for number talk. Okay, so what do these numbers refer to? Well, the first one is kilometers per hour. So you'll see these on the highway, and that's the speed at which you must go. Remember, a heavy load or something you're carrying, you're gonna have to go slower. 3.5 meters is the maximum height. So if lorries are coming, they're gonna cut the roof off, right? So you wanna make sure that if you're going under a bridge, that there's enough clearance. So maximum height means anything taller cannot go. Same thing with width. Maximum weight, 5 tons here, right? So that's about 11,000 pounds. And then number 5, maximum length, 9.2 meters. So again, we did have a slide in the previous lesson that talked about that I displayed that talked about length, width, and height. If you have questions. So we do have some vocabulary here. So we have some nouns, some verbs, and some adjectives. So for width, so you can pause the video and complete the exercises here. Okay, so for nouns, we have width. For verbs, there is none. That's why it's shaded here. Then adjectives, there's wide. So something can be wide. For number 2, we have safety and safe. For number 3, We have hazard and hazardous. Number 4, protection. And then for the adjective, protect, or verb, protect, sorry. Noun is calculator, calculation. The verb is calculator. All right, and then again, we're moving over. This old machine isn't safe, for example. He's an Italy or Italian, he's an Italian engineer. And again, these answers will be uploaded in the folder so you can reference them. What's happening in the 4 pictures? So we're going to combine some verbs to what's happening before, and you want to use key vocabulary like load, right? Load. So for example, in 1, the load has snapped from the crane, and the man, luckily, he has his PPE on, his hard hat, but it looks like he's gonna be squished, all right? He's gonna be squashed. Number 2, the load is this motion here. The load is swinging back and forth. Number 3, the man's hand, it's actually, the load is coming up, but his hand is in between, so his hand is gonna get injured, right? And number 4, the crane is falling over because the load may be too heavy, right? And so it looks like the man's in danger there. All right, and there are signs that we have here. So for the signs, can you complete the rules, listen again, and check? So this is an activity you can do on your own for the rules. So for these signs, don't understand or never stand under the load. Those are some rules. You must never try to stop a swinging load. Number 3, be careful where you put your hands. Number 4, hand signal for emergency stop. But this is both arms out. And then always have a radio. So this means stop. This means move the load away. And then this means take the load up. So there are different hand signals that you have here. All right, the verb can. So this is a language spot that you see here. And again, the answers will be in the folder that's uploaded there. So we're kind of combining everything that we've learned. If you have any questions, please email Mr. Kelvin. So the motive verb must. So the can is asking for permission or being polite, and must means you have to do something. There's no choice. Or possibility. So can is ability, or you're being polite. For example, can you lift this? Are you able to lift this? Or can you help me, please? Can I come in? Asking for permission, being polite. And then must for rules. You don't have any choice. You must do this. And the grammar reference will help you on page 119 there. Spelling notices. So go ahead and add the vowels here. This is for writing. And again, the answers will be uploaded in the folder. For example, protect, we need an O here. Surface, you need a U and an A. S-U-R-F-A-C-E, surface. And finally, we have some vocabulary words at the end of the unit. Make sure you know how to spell these. And if there's anything you have questions on, you can complete the checklist. If there's something that you can't do, you can always email the instructor and they can help you out. So again, reference the folder for the answers. And remember, as we do this, there are certain things that we need to do to protect ourselves, right? You should always be wearing your personal protective equipment to protect yourself and practicing safety. And there are certain things that can happen. For example, a load can swing and fall because it's too heavy. And you can injure your hand if you try to interfere with the load, right, to stop it, etc. All right, thank you very much. Again, if you have any questions, please email the course instructor. Thank you very much.